The Johnson family had always dreamed of a peaceful life in the countryside. Their dream came true when they found an old, rustic farmhouse nestled among rolling hills, far away from the noise and chaos of the city. It was perfect, a place where they could raise their children, Lily and Ethan, in a serene environment. Little did they know that this house held a dark secret that would soon unravel. As they settled into the farmhouse, the Johnsons were captivated by its charm. It had creaky wooden floors, exposed beams, and a cozy fireplace. It was a place where they felt they could create countless happy memories together. However, strange occurrences began soon after they moved in. It started with faint, almost imperceptible whispers in the middle of the night. Susan, the mother, would wake up to what seemed like distant voices echoing through the house. She brushed it off as a product of her imagination at first, but as days passed, the whispers grew louder and more distinct. One night, Susan, unable to ignore the eerie sounds any longer, decided to investigate. The whispers seemed to be coming from the attic. She climbed the narrow staircase that led to the attic, her heart pounding with trepidation. The attic was dusty, filled with old trunks and forgotten relics from previous owners. But there was no one there, just the persistent whispers. Disturbed, Susan confided in her husband, David. He too had heard the whispers during the nights, but had dismissed them as stress. However, he couldn't deny Susan's fear and decided to look into it. Late one evening, when the moon cast eerie shadows on the farmhouse, David crept up to the attic. As he ascended the creaking stairs, he felt a sudden drop in temperature. The whispers grew louder, now forming words that chilled him to the bone. "Help me," they murmured, over and over again, as if a soul trapped in torment was desperately pleading for release. David scanned the attic, trying to locate the source of the voices. His flashlight fell upon a small, weathered diary hidden among the dusty trunks. As he opened it, his heart sank. It belonged to the farmhouse's previous owner, a man named Samuel O'Donnell. Samuel had lived alone in the farmhouse for decades, and his diary detailed his growing obsession with contacting the spirit world. He described rituals, seances, and incantations that he believed would grant him the power to communicate with the dead. The diary entries became increasingly disjointed and frantic, detailing Samuel's descent into madness. David couldn't shake the feeling that the voices were somehow connected to Samuel's obsession. He shared his findings with Susan, and together they began to piece together the puzzle. They learned that Samuel had perished under mysterious circumstances, and his body had never been found. His restless spirit seemed to linger in the farmhouse, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. Desperate for answers and fearing for their children's safety, the Johnsons sought the help of a local historian, Dr. Eleanor Gray, who had an interest in the paranormal. Dr. Gray's research revealed a disturbing history of the farmhouse, dating back to the 19th century. It had been built on the site of a forgotten cemetery where the bodies of early settlers were laid to rest. The revelation sent shivers down the Johnsons' spines. They realized that the restless spirits of those buried beneath the farmhouse might be the source of the haunting. Dr. Gray advised them to perform a cleansing ritual to appease the vengeful souls and bring peace to the house. With the historian's guidance, the Johnsons gathered in the attic on a moonless night, armed with candles, incense, and a sense of trepidation. They chanted incantations from a centuries-old grimoire and called upon the spirits to find solace and forgiveness. As they recited the ancient words, a chilling wind swept through the attic, extinguishing the candles and plunging them into darkness. The whispers grew louder and more desperate, echoing through the attic like a cacophonous choir of the damned. Suddenly, a figure materialized before them, a spectral silhouette with hollow eyes filled with anguish. It was Samuel O'Donnell's tormented spirit, bound to the house by his insatiable desire to commune with the dead. The Johnsons continued their ritual, their voices trembling with fear, but strengthened by determination. They pleaded with Samuel to let go of his earthly attachments and find peace. The apparition wailed and contorted, a grotesque visage of suffering. With one final, heart-wrenching cry, Samuel's spirit dissolved into a wisp of ethereal mist, vanishing into the unknown. The whispers ceased, and an eerie calm settled over the farmhouse. The Johnsons, emotionally drained but relieved, knew that they had succeeded in releasing Samuel's spirit. As they descended from the attic, the farmhouse felt different, as if a heavy weight had been lifted. The haunting was over, and the family could finally enjoy the peace they had sought when they first moved to the countryside. But even as the years passed and the memory of the haunting faded, the Johnsons could never forget the chilling whispers from the forgotten. They had learned that some secrets are best left undisturbed, and that in the darkness of the past, restless souls may still yearn for release.